Hi everyone, it's Calvin Ho here, the Cinephile. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for clicking. I really appreciate it. It's so good to be back. I haven't done a movie review, a film review since Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was earlier this year. It's been crazy, really busy, working. My wife gave birth to our first child, Scarlett, so that was really exciting. But anyways, you're here because I'm going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, this is a spoilers review. No point in doing a non-spoilers review. This is a spoilers review. There's so many great moments in this film, so let's just spoil away. So first off, I want to say that I think this is one of, if not the best Spider-Man film. I think Spider-Verse is really good. I think Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire and his Spider-Man trilogy and his portrayal of Peter Parker. So I love Spider-Man 1 and 2 from his trilogy. Uh, Garfield's first Spider-Man is okay. And of course, Holland's whole trilogy is good, but this one takes the cake. It's really well done, it's beautiful. Um, but since I've already mentioned it, so what they were able to pull off with this film is nothing short of amazing, pun intended. I think it's on the same level as Infinity War and Endgame. I know there are more characters for those films, but this one is special because they got actors back, like the villains from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, um, 19 years ago in one case. So, I mean, that's 20, I think, because 20 probably when they were filming the first Spider Man film with Willem Dafoe. And it's just incredible that they would want to come back. And it's not just, of course, it's about money, but it's not just money. It's like, oh, we actually want you to act in this. Like, you actually have lines and you actually have screen time. So they did it in such a great way. But I'll talk about that more afterwards. So, I already spoiled it, but Toby's back, Andrew's back. It was so wonderful seeing them on screen. I think this was an idea that fans have had for some time since probably Tom Holland was cast in Civil War. I'm sure there were some fans saying, hey, like it's possible now because we have three different Spider-Men and they can do this. And we could have a multiverse. And so it wasn't too long. I think Civil War was 2016. So you have to wait 5 years, but we got it, which is amazing. So it's just like the Avengers, just like Infinity War, just like Endgame. Patience pays off. And I have to say, I mean, you can like them, you can dislike them. Like, this will never happen again. Like, nobody will have the run that Marvel has had. Um, they're just doing an incredible job. And I think Eternals was the first rotten film, and there are people who like that, right? Who would give that a good score. So, I mean, it's just incredible. I think this is the 25th MCU film or 26th MCU film. But anyways, I mean, it's a crazy run. Um, so yeah, it was great seeing them back. Emotional for me. So they both had closure. I think Andrew more, but Toby as well. After his disappointing third film, and Andrew, of course, with the disappointing second one in his supposed trilogy, which never happened. Um, but yeah, so I think the film is absolutely beautiful. It's well shot. John Watts did a great job. He's really matured as a filmmaker. Um, I didn't know this, but some people were like, "Oh, he's a boring filmmaker," right? I never watched Homecoming or Far From Home and thought it was boring. Like maybe it's not like, the angles aren't crazy or whatever, but he's a good filmmaker, I think. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It takes big swings emotionally, which I didn't expect. I thought they would just continue on with the status quo. Um, I think the stakes in the first Spider-Man films for Holland are good. Like they keep sort of amping it up. Of course, there's physical danger for the character, but you know, his identity being revealed as at the end of the last one, Far From Home, which was really good as well. And it's all led up to this, the end of his trilogy. So it's really well done. Tom Holland's acting is fantastic. He's a great actor, and I know he's been doing it for a long time, um, since he was 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. So he's had a lot of time, a lot of experience, and he's really good. It's not just the accent; it's just his, him being able to be emotional and open and vulnerable. It's really great for the character of Peter Parker as well. Toby and Andrew did a great job. I'm so glad they had screen time actually, and it wasn't just like a 5 second cameo. So smart, like honestly, Marvel and Sony just did a great job. Um, so yes, uh, back to Tom. Sorry. So Holland's acting during Aunt May's death scene, so good. It's so well done. He's just brilliant actor, and I honestly think he would be nominated for an Academy Award if it wasn't a Spider-Man film. So that might happen for him later down the line. He's still in his 20s, so he has plenty of time. Um, but yeah, Toby and Andrew did a good job. They're both good actors. I think we forgot that about Toby especially, but I think a lot of people know Garfield's a good actor. Um, so Garfield understands the character. I think Maguire understands him as well. Um, Garfield, Garfield Spider-Man catching MJ and saving her is so brilliant. It's so sweet the way it's done. They're all great Spider-Man and Peter Parkers. Willem Dafoe is great as Norman Osborn. He's as menacing as ever as Green Goblin. It's just so good, and this is like literally 19 years later, and he still understands the character and is still doing a good job. I think Alfred Molina is really good as well. And he just, does that sort of intelligent, sort of elder statesman character well. But he can also go back and forth between good and evil really well. Defoe can as well, but I think maybe Molina's a little more fatherly or more believable as a good guy. Marissa Tomei is good. She's a bit underserved throughout this whole trilogy, except for that great scene in the middle of this film. And every actor wants a good death scene, so she gets it, and it's really emotional and beautiful, and I shed a tear. I won't lie. It's just well done. It's really beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to gush about this film a lot, and then we'll get to maybe one or two negatives. The third act is so much fun. I think the first act is like setting up, but the first act has Charlie Cox as oh my gosh, as Matt Murdock, which is great cameo. I think I think Cox's performance in Daredevil, the series, is like one of the best things I've seen in the past 10 years. Like he's so good as Matt Murdock and Daredevil, and that show is really well done too. So I think even in these scenes you can see, maybe he's a little bit lighter in this scene, so it's like a slightly lighter version which fits into the MCU more because the Netflix series are more sort of like PG-15 and like darker and more violent, right? Sort of like a little bit nastier. So I expect the same for whoever comes back. Kingpin, maybe slightly lighter or slightly like shot differently, right? Because the Daredevil series is sort of like dark and sort of like realistic. Yeah, so the third act is so much fun, really creative and well done. Some superhero shots. Their interaction is so good. Those guys have good chemistry, the three guys, which is like fantastic. Of course, it would have been really. I guess this is sort of like a negative, which I'll save for later, but it was still incredible and really memorable and well done. I like that the villains were all there. They all had their own purposes, and they're sort of fighting sort of at the same time. And then you have the three Spider-Men working together to figure it out and cure all the villains, if they could. So, there wasn't really anything bad about the film. I think, and it's long too. It's not a short film. I think it's 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2 hours and 35 minutes, something like that. It's pretty long. But what really bothered me, like going into the film, was people spoiling the film. Like, get a life. Seriously, get a life. People, like, their job is to post scoops and whatnot. Like, I think that's a pretty useless job, to be honest. Yeah, we don't need scoopers. We need more people who love film and who will say, oh no, I know, but I'm not going to tell you because I want you to experience it. And still, there were enough surprises in the way it was done. Like, Charlie Cox, obviously, as Matt Murdock, so that was done nicely. Andrew Garfield, the way they did it with the Doctor Strange portal is just brilliant, really well done. Those two interacting and, privately as well, having like small moments together is just so good. Talking about their love lives, and sacrifices that they've made. But yeah, I think them. Yeah, that's the thing. Like people spoiling it before the film even came out. That was the most annoying part of this film because it's so anticipated, which I understand, but at the same time, I think shut up, right? So a couple of things. I wish J. Jonah Jameson interacted with Tobey's Spider-Man. That would have been great. So it wasn't there. Maybe the film was too long and they cut it, or else they just didn't need it. What else? I love that all the villains were there. We got 5, so close. Sinister 5 would have been awesome. We've got Sinister 6. Maybe Jake Gyllenhaal was busy, but it would have been nice if they got someone else. Just to get the 6. But they didn't need it. But it would have been awesome just to say we had a Sinister 6 film. Even though Doc Ock was never really that bad, right? Just his first scene. Yeah, I thought they spread out screen time well. Every character gets their moment. The 3 Spider-Man, but the villains as well. Jamie Foxx's Electro. Even if they weren't there, like Sandman, Lizard, of course Doc Ock, Molina's Doc Ock, Defoe's Green Goblin, like really great performance. I love seeing all of the villains together, interacting. We get multiple scenes of Andrew and Tobey actually acting and having an impact on Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which is great. I think there's a purpose for it. It's like you met someone, even though it was a brief time, and they actually affected you, and it was a positive experience. So that's really, really nice. I think they had to do it in such a way where it made sense, and it wasn't like Tobey and Andrew coming in and saving the day and saying, "See ya, kid," right? And it's like, or bye, and having 5 minutes of screen time. I think a lot of people would have been unhappy with that. So the way they did it is brilliant. Yeah, I get chills just thinking about those scenes. I woke up thinking about those scenes, and of course the death scene and the rain falling on Tom and Tom's Peter Parker, and it's really well done. The cinematography is beautiful. I did look up the cinematographer, but I can't pronounce his name properly, but great job. Yeah. So, yeah, encouraging him to do the right thing, keep going. Their interactions are so funny and charming, like best friends. A really great material to work with, so I have to give a shout out to the writers. Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers are the writers. They did a good job. John Watts did a good job, and he showed maturity as a filmmaker. I think, I'm really excited for his Fantastic Four now. I really, really am excited. I want to see the cast, and I think he'll get it right, and Feige will get it right, because Feige is, he's shrewd, would be one word to describe him, you might say, but he's shrewd, he's intelligent, he knows what he's doing, he's had 20 years of experience. I think this year is his 20th year as a producer, or working in the film business, because he's in his 40s now. So it's just, yeah, it's incredible. They're doing such a good job, Marvel. So thank you, Marvel Studios. I mean, you've given us a lot over the past 15 years. Yeah, it's just incredible. But I am going to look at the cinematographer, because now I feel bad. Or I had the cinematographer, it's right here. Okay, the cinematographer is Mauro Fiore. So, great job. It's really well shot, really well done. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful film. And I think just a couple of negatives. No Sinister 6, just missing one. J. Jonah Jameson with Tobey, that would have been funny. But they had a lot of interaction in 3 films that they weren't together. Yeah, it's just a fantastic, fantastic film. So that pretty much wraps it up. I know that was a lot of gushing and saying it's incredible, but it's really well done. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man films. I watched Tobey's Spider-Man when I was 15 years old, right before my 16th birthday. So I had crushes, and Spider-Man is such a great character because he is like us, right? It's like, I have a crush on a girl, she doesn't even notice me. I can't pay my bills, right? I'm sort of lower / middle class, right? You have money problems, etc., etc. And I think a lot of people feel that way, especially money problems. It's like, I can't afford that. Um, but yes, I mean, he's a great, wonderful character, beautiful character, and I think they just have really grasped the teenage angst of it and the issues that teenagers are going through now. It's sort of like doing the right thing, but also being selfish and saying, "Hey, I take care of myself too." So, and that's sort of through. There's a through line in that as well. Before I go, Benedict Cumberbatch does a good job as Doctor Strange. Nice to see him again. The teaser for Doctor Strange at the end of this film. It's at the second end credits because people already know this watching this. So that teaser was beautiful, and I really prefer that too. I prefer like 1 minute teasers for the next film rather than like a 10-second silly clip, right, or end credit scene. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really love the film. I was so excited to watch it. I think after Far From Home, I was like, how are they gonna do this? Are they gonna bring in Matt Murdock, for a scene? But I didn't think it was going to be this. I didn't think it was going to be, Toby and Andrew having 20 minutes of screen time. Like, that's amazing for both of them. And they have closure, and we have closure with them. And if we get more in the future, that's just incredible. But this film is beautiful. It's brave. It takes big swings. I really enjoyed it. I will watch it again. It's sort of like that third act is sort of like Endgame's third act. It's just incredible. So I have to watch it again. I can't just leave it for 10 years and then watch it. I'll watch it again, soon, in, a few months' time. But yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this review, please click like, subscribe, tell your friends, comments. I love talking to you guys on the internet. This experience has been so much fun, and we're going to 2022. I can't believe it. I think I started this journey in 2019, so it's going into its third year. But hopefully I won't stop, and there's more to come. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you did. Spider-Man No Way Home. But enjoy all of the films you're going to watch in the near future or have watched recently. And I hope you enjoy them. And have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.